Life has been better ever since I hired an assistant, and let me tell you why. Maybe you've considered adding to your team, but decided that this was just something that could wait, and you just kept putting hiring an assistant on the back burner like I did. However, my wife and I quickly realized that we wouldn't be able to continue growing our business and achieve the success we wanted all by ourselves. And as our workload increased, it became challenging to keep track of all the moving parts. In real estate, where transactions are constantly evolving, managing multiple deals at once can quickly become overwhelming. So for anybody watching this, including you, yes, you watching this on your smartphone or TV or computer, and you're like, should I hire an assistant? Is now the right time? What if the market's up or down? Go ahead and watch this video and you'll see exactly how it's impacted my business, how it's made our life a lot easier, and why it's likely the right time for you to hire an assistant. So let's discuss the many reasons you should hire an executive assistant. Hiring an assistant can make your life easier no matter the business you're in or the size of your business. I've been considering hiring somebody for our team for quite some time now, but ultimately I wanted to make sure I was ready for a few things. Number one, the changes it was going to bring to our lives. Number two, the financial aspect of hiring an assistant. Number three, the acceptance of someone else being a point of contact for me or Tara. And again, back to you watching this video, if you're like me and you're a type A personality or you're kind of OCD, then the last one we just talked about can be kind of difficult to solve for. Or number four, if adding someone else would actually bring value to the team. Before you hire someone, sit down and really look at what you have going on, analyze your needs and wants, and this will help you determine if hiring someone is going to be beneficial for you and your business. Which, by the way, if you're watching this and you're a realtor or lender, I'll share a few of the tasks or main projects that have been stacking up on my plate for quite some time now and how we've delegated that over to our new assistant. But aside from being a realtor or a lender, if there are any signs that may lead you to thinking you need to hire an executive assistant, let it be these. You get overwhelmed and frustrated at the pile of administrative tasks such as email management, calendaring, phone calls, expense reporting, you name it. Number two, you are not holding up to your end of the agreement for yourself. For example, I've been on YouTube since March of 2023, and I've always wanted to have at least one video per week on YouTube. As my business and transactions grew, I quickly got behind trying to manage all of the video process while on top of that trying to ensure that the client experience was top-notch. And I realized fairly quickly that hiring someone was going to be the only way that was going to be achievable. Number three, organization is not your strong suit. I must say, anybody that's worked with me in the past, whether it's in corporate America or now in real estate the last few years, you know I'm pretty organized, but again, the projects have just escalated really quickly lately. Number four, you have new business growth opportunities and you want to pursue them. Or number five, the lower priority duties are not getting done as often and resulting in having to play catch up more often than not. Moving right along, let's go and talk about some of the benefits of hiring an assistant. They help you manage your day-to-day office tasks. They allow you to focus on action items that have a higher priority. They ensure that systems and processes are efficient. They can help manage your calendar and emails. They can be quick to problem solve if needed. They help you stay organized. They can help keep you on schedule for meetings, events, and traveling. And they can also serve as a face or voice of your business when you're in meetings or you're busy. So again, going back to the personal experience I have in hiring an assistant, let me take you through the top 3 reasons I chose to hire one. For number one, this might be obvious, but the number of transactions that my wife and I are doing on a monthly basis have increased quite a bit. I went from selling about 10 million in real estate per year and on average 2 transactions a month to now I'm having anywhere between 5 and 10 transactions a month and closing about 1.5 to 1.75 million per month as well. We were quickly becoming in the weeds of paperwork and contracts, and we realized that this is part of the job. However, we made a priority to want to be client-facing, in front of our network and making sure that they felt a hands-on approach. Our second reason for hiring an assistant is we simply wanted to buy some of our time back. We've definitely reached a part of our growth to start delegating some tasks and projects to someone else. This has allowed us to keep the main thing, and that's the client experience. If your focus isn't the client, you are doing this whole thing wrong. Your ability to connect with your clients is going to take you much further if you develop an authentic relationship with them over time. Not to mention, if your clients align with your personal values and they get to know that side of you and you get to know that side of them, it just helps your transaction or your experience with them become a lot less stressful and a lot more smooth. One major task that's been off my plate that's been very time consuming over the last year and a half is writing content for this channel. Now I still want this channel to have my voice and kind of how I look at the world and what I believe in. So I've coached our assistant to make sure the talking points that she's writing for us, number one, it's the truth if it's data driven. Number two, that it's really my voice and something I would say. Quick example on that, it's pretty funny to me. She wrote a script for our new listing in Austin. It's a brand new construction home, maybe a couple blocks away from downtown. And in the script, she talks about us visiting downtown and shopping till you drop and drinking Mars. I said, Zoe, like, you're never going to hear me say Mars, and you're never going to hear me say shop till you drop. So again, it's still keeping the talking points with our voice and how we want to present the real estate business. And the third reason we chose to hire an assistant is we want to recruit new agents to join our team, and she's going to be very instrumental in helping us onboard these new agents. Growing our business in this team has been a goal of ours since the very beginning, and I knew it would take time to get to this point, and now that we are finally here, I'm ecstatic to see what God has in store for us, our business, our team, and our family. As you can imagine, there are several moving pieces to this role, especially in a changing environment, changing in politics, changing in culture. There's a lot of things changing right now. It's October 15th at the time of filming this video, and my goodness, I was just talking to my wife last night during our walk. I feel like it's supposed to be 2019 or maybe 2020 still, and here we are in 2024, almost 5 years later. It felt like 2019 was 2 weeks ago. There's been a ton of change, not only in this business, but just in the world around us. So off my little mic tangent or mic soapbox, I want to talk to you about how we ensured that we hired the right person for this position. Number one, we defined the role, and we wanted to make sure we had the right expectations set up. Before putting any announcements out there, we documented what this person's day-to-day might look like and made sure that they knew what to expect. In this document, we included tasks such as email and calendar management, travel and content day logistics, filing business expenses, building and documenting systems and processes, handling the contracts to close, dropping off and picking up signs and lock boxes at our listings, entering listings into the MLS, outbound recruiting calls to agents as we build out a team, content writing, helping film video content for real estate marketing, and other miscellaneous administrative help with real estate tasks. Number two, we established the pay and benefits. Personally, we chose to go the route of a 1099 independent contractor. As you probably know, this makes the assistant self-employed, and they have the authority to choose when and how they work. Number three, we sought out referrals from our network. We asked close friends and family, as well as share the position on social media, put this announcement out there, help get word of mouth, as we wanted to make sure we had a strong, like-minded individual in our network. The fourth step we took was doing phone screenings. I did an original phone call to get to know the individual and ensure that this person was really interested in the position and if they have the basic skills to do the job correctly and efficiently. I also made sure that we discussed the position in detail so there'd be zero confusion on what was expected as we move forward. Number five, we wanted to make sure we were asking the right questions. This should be a given, but it's really not. Make sure that you set up the correct questions for you to filter out and decipher if the person you're interviewing is right for you and your team. A few of the main topics we discussed were her educational background, her administrative experience, the pay expectations, what real estate experience she had, if any, why she was interested in this role with these working dynamics, how soon they could start, are they okay with working some on Saturdays? And then we asked them if they had any questions about the role or what may be expected. Number seven, establish whether you want to do a formal or informal interview. Formal interviews are more structured and typically follow a series of questions that are decided upon pre-interview, whereas informal interviews are more conversational and open-ended, while also being more personal rather than transactional. They are usually in a relaxed and comfortable environment as well. We chose to go the informal route. We actually met her at a Starbucks and just had a pretty casual and normal conversation just to ensure that the personalities were going to mesh well together and that she knew what she was getting herself into, especially dealing with somebody like me. Again, type A, OCD. Maybe you guys have seen this on my channel in the past where it's like, yeah, I just have some problems, okay? Also, make sure you come prepared to share what their day-to-day tasks may look like and discuss what will be expected with them, whether this is an informal or formal interview. Number eight, ensure that you have a pretty good onboarding process. Now, this is something that I thought I was very prepared for whenever she joined our team, but I've learned over time, like, hey, there's always tweaks that you as the business owner can do to make the onboarding experience better and more efficient for your new hire. With her being our first hire, we wanted to ensure that we handled the onboarding process well and made it as seamless as possible. Ever since my first year in real estate, I've created like a policy and procedures manual, or I've titled it the operations manual, and it's helped Tara and myself work more efficiently and just know the steps in each part of the transaction process or just how I go about my day-to-day. But I knew from my previous experience that not everybody learns like I do, so part of our onboarding process that we're tweaking is to ensure that we're hitting all learning styles for the next person that we hire. For now, this operations manual has been a decent resource for our new hire to go back and reference in case she has any questions about processes or systems or what steps she should take to complete a task. Here were a couple steps into our onboarding process. The first day, we focused on day-to-day tasks, getting an email set up, getting her Microsoft 365 set up, establishing some content writing expectations. The first week, we introduced our assistant to filling out and uploading contracts and paperwork, entering MLS listings, email management, calendar management, and other administrative tasks. The second week, we reviewed some of those tasks that we had already established in the first week, just to make sure that the learning curve was still there. And we took a page out of my own playbook in corporate America and did a bird personality test, also called the DOPE test. We shared more about our backgrounds and discussed how the first week went. And to be specific, by discussed, I mean, were there any changes that needed to be made to the training or onboarding process? Did we need to evaluate and change anything to the work schedule? Were there any questions about anything that has been taught as of right now? I think it's important to establish not only trust, but transparency and good communication up front. So after we discussed those topics, we did end up changing the preferred work times due to wanting to be more efficient with the time that we had our assistant on the clock and not be counterproductive with our time together. So again, it's very important during your onboarding process to keep your hands on the pulse. You gotta make sure you're evaluating what's working and what's not working. And you may have to change your processes and systems to be more efficient. When bringing on your first hire, I'm going to encourage you, be open-minded, be ready to adapt, and be ready to grow within your business. And lastly, just a quick personal experience since we've hired our assistant. Let me just say, it's been a whirlwind. Our first 2 to 3 weeks with our assistant, we had 2 conferences out of state. However, thanks to the invaluable support of our assistant, we've been able to stay on top of contracts, closings, and other crucial tasks without missing a beat. Her adaptability has been game-changing for us as she was able to adjust to the needs of the business while we were over there learning from Tom Ferry's conference, learning at Patrick Ben-David's conference, and it's just been a huge support for us. Her commitment has gone beyond regular office hours as she quickly demonstrated some flexibility by handling tasks after hours and even addressing client needs when we were out of pocket. She showed a lot of dedication to ensure that our clients received uninterrupted service, reinforcing our reputation for providing a hands-on approach to our clients. And that leads me right back to the beginning of this video, and that's keeping the main thing, the client experience. I'm confident when you decide to bring somebody onto your team, it's gonna allow you to do the same thing that it did for us. Keep the client experience the priority. Do me a favor, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. And lastly, if you wanna see one of the great listings that we have in North Texas, check out this video by clicking here.